here only, then whenever it gets loaded, what will happen for all the employees? What will be the ID?
One.
One,
One,
sir.
sir.
One
One.
only,
But sir,
right?
ID should be
So that's
different, na,
why,
sir.
yeah, IDs will be different, right? So that's why I'll just
No need,
declare it.
sir.
No need
Yes,
to
we
initialize
should
you.
not initialize it because every object will have a different ID, no? That's our motive. That's our motive actually. Yes. So ID. Then what next? Every employee will have a name. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thing name. Yes. Okay. Now, yes, guys. Anything else? We'll take
Salary, sir,
three pool
salary.
salary. Oh, straight away salary. Okay. So what should I take? Int only or should I take long?
Int,
Yes.
sir.
Int.
Int, sir.
Okay.
They will not give paisa, sir.
Uh, int. Salary. I'll take salary. Yes. That's enough.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Enough,
Okay.
sir.
Now we will add some non-static methods, that is
So,
behavior.
some
Yes.
disturbance is
Guys,
there from
someone's
someone's
mind.
sides.
Uh,
Someone, not from my side, but
yeah. Now it's fine, I guess. Yes. So now we'll add some behaviors that is some non-static methods. So yes, guys, help me out in creating some non-static
Public
methods
void
that
to work,
public
sir. Void to work.
void to work. Now, yes, guys, what should be the convention to write the method name? Yes. What is the convention
Convention.
to write a method name? It will always, the first word will be in lowercase. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Lowercase.
two
and
and
of work it will be in uppercase.
yes, the second word, first letter will be in uppercase. Yes. To work. Okay. Now it is a no argument method. Yeah. Yes. Now what should be there? What do you want in this? I'll just write that the employee is working. Yes. Or you want it to do anything else? Yes, guys. We are just understanding the flow, right? So I hope this much will be enough. Employee is working. Yes. What next? Similarly, I'll add some more
Static.
methods.
Static method. No, sir.
Static methods you
Hello.
want? Okay, fine. I'll make one static method. What do you want this method to do? Yes. What should be the name? To work we will make non-static, and to
On time, sir.
eat on time or eat. Okay, fine. On time. Yes. On time.
Yes, yes.
What? Okay. Employee is on employee is on time. Okay. Yes. Fine. That much is fine. Now what next? You want one more method or this much is fine for your understanding?
It's fine.
So we can
Yes,
Sufficient,
take
guys.
sir.
one more.
One static, one
Sufficient?
unstatic. No sufficient, sir.
This is
Yes.
fine.
Okay. Now some non-static and
Non-static.
static initializers. Yes. Initializers, multi-line initializers. Yes. I'll add static multi-line initializer. Now in this, Hi from static multi-line initializer. Yes, this much is fine. And similarly, one non-static one as well. Yes. Okay. High
Yes.
from non-static multi-line initializer and high from static multi-line initializer. Two initializers, multi-line initializers also I have in my program. Now, what next should I have? Yes, guys, tell. Yes.
Object
You know, it's a
creation,
constructor, no, sir.
object creation and constructor.
Okay. For
Construction.
object creation, what do you
After
need?
making object, then we add
For object
constructors.
creation, you need a constructor. Yeah. So that's how you should understand. Okay. Now, what next? A constructor. You should have a constructor. Now
Names,
we'll add a constructor.
class,
Okay.
class.
Employee.
Yes. Now this is a non-static member, right? I'll make it a parameterized one. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday I was showing you an example with the help of this keyword in which everyone was getting confused. Yes. So today we'll be taking the same example over here also. With the help of this keyword only, we'll be doing it. Okay. Yes, guys, you have to be comfortable with this keyword. That is very important.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So now I'll
This.
now if I have three non-static variables, my and if I want my constructor to load all those three non-static variables, I can do that. So how did I do it yesterday, guys? Yes. Can anyone tell? So yesterday I
So
had only one variable,
This. Yes, sir. Only one
but
variable it
today I'm
was.
having three variables.
so we
That's
have
the
to
only
write the
difference.
three,
Yes. So we have to
three
create
in
three
its
variables:
three
int,
variables. Int ID,
ID,
string name,
comma,
then
String
string
name int cell.
name,
comma.
and then int of sal. Yes,
these are
I have
local
created
variables.
three variables. Yeah, these are local variables for this particular constructor only. Okay. Yes. Now, what should I do?
This this
I
dot
want
id
my constructor to initialize the values. Yes. Okay. So now tell guys
this
how to
dot
do that.
id
This
This dot
dot
ID
dot
id
id
equal to id.
equals to id. Okay.
This dot
Similarly,
name
this dot name equals to name.
this
Name.
Yes.
dot
Similarly,
sal
this dot
This dot
sal
cell.
equals
equal to
to
sal.
sal. Yes. So now I want my, if I'm writing it like this, then what is happening? That I'm giving the responsibility to the constructor only to initialize the values. And if I'm writing it over here, if I'm declaring it in the constructor, then where should I pass? What is this known as? This is known as the formal arguments, right? Yes, guys.
that's it.
If I'm writing, creating these variables in the declaration part, then this only is known as formal arguments for a constructor. I told you yesterday. You guys remember?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if I have formal arguments, then when I'm calling the constructor, what should I do?
Passing the values.
Yes, I should pass the actual arguments. Okay.
Yeah, actual
Yes.
arguments.
Okay. So now my constructors work over here also. Whatever I wanted my constructor to do, I have written. What are these? Yes, that I have written inside the constructor body. What is it known as?
Constructor block.
Accept and return statement, sir.
Return statement.
No, 2 minutes.
Sir,
It says
instruction.
local variable,
Programmer
and then
return
after that
instruction.
is
Then the third part of the constructor. Programming written instruction.
Hmm.
Programmer written
Programmer written
instructions.
instruction.
Return instructions, sir.
Yes,
yes, sir.
yes, yes. Okay, programmer written instructions.
Yes, sir.
Now what next? What should I have in my
Main method, sir.
program? Main method.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Yes, sir.
I'll add the main method. Public static void
Void main.
main string array of arguments. Yes. Now inside the main method, what should I do? Yes, guys, tell.
Object creation statement, sir.
Object creation statements.
Object creation statement. Okay.
Mm.
New. Along with that, which object you want to create? You want to create an
Employee,
object
sir.
of employee
Employee.
type, right?
Employee.
Employee.
Yes. So now, after this new keyword, what should I write?
E1.
Em-
Employee, sorry.
employee, sir.
Even
Employee.
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 What is
Employee,
that?
sir.
What is that?
Employee.
What is this employee that I'm writing over here? What is it known as?
Constructor, sir.
Constructor.
Constructor. Yes, yes, guys. So this is the constructor. I'm calling the constructor with the help of new keyword.
New.
Now,
Sir, your voice
yes,
is breaking, sir.
my voice is breaking.
No, sir.
No,
Guys,
sir.
is it breaking
No,
for
sir. You are
everyone?
properly audible.
Okay. For
From my side,
those
there
who
will
is
be a
breaking,
problem.
you can refresh it once. It will be fine,
Okay,
I guess.
sir.
Yes. Okay. So now I have called the constructor. Now, which constructor am I calling over here, guys? Yes, I'm calling a no argument constructor. Yes, am I or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, but
Yes, sir.
which type of constructor do I have in my program?
Actual, I mean, variable, sir. Parameterized.
parameterized constructor.
Yes. So I have a parameterized constructor and I'm calling a no argument constructor. Will it
Yes,
be
sir.
correct? Yes.
No, sir.
Won't I get compile time error? I'll get,
Yes,
obviously
sir.
I'll get
Yes,
compile
sir.
time error. So what should I do?
Actual values we have to enter, sir.
We should pass the actual values. But before that, what I'll do is that I'll create a variable
Reference.
to store the
Variable.
variable, yes,
Employee.
employee E1.
E1.
Okay. Now this is my first employee. So for that, what are the things that I must pass over here in the actual arguments?
ID, name, and salary.
ID, name, and sal.
ID, name, and sal. So this is my first employee. Guys, give me a minute, okay? I have to
Yes,
close
sir.
it.
Okay, sir.
Arguments same as what I have created in the formal arguments, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what are the things that are there in the formal arguments? Three things are there.
Order
That is
should
ID,
be
name, and sal. So what is the rule for passing
Order
the
should be
actual
same, sir.
arguments? Yes. Just related with the rules of the formal and actual arguments that we
Yes, sir.
studied in the case of methods, guys. Okay, just related. So the order must be same. So now
Data
the
type.
first one is ID, then the second one is name, and the third one is sal in the formal arguments. Then the order must be same. We must pass the ID. That is, ID is in integer, so we should pass an integer value. I'll pass
Integer.
1. What next? I should pass a name.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that is a string, guys, right? So how should I
Double
pass it?
quotes. Double
In
quotes.
Double quotes.
Double
Yes.
quote, sir.
Okay.
So
what-
I'm
what
having a
should I do?
doubt here.
Yes, yes. Tell.
So why only we are passing the value 1 here?
It's not like that. I just gave a random ID. Okay,
Okay, we
you
can take
tell
a
me what
ID,
ID.
random
you want.
ID we can take, na?
Yes, yes, anything. You are the creator of this program, right? You can take any ID of your choice. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this is the first one. That's why I have taken the ID
Okay,
as one. This
fine,
is my
fine,
employee
sir.
one. Okay. Yeah. So now, what should be the name of first employee? Something that starts with A. I'll take. Yes. Yes. Ajay is fine.
Yes, sir.
Now, yes. Now, what next, guys? I
Salary,
should
sir.
pass the salary. So that is also an integer only. So monthly salary will write.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Guys, give me a monthly salary for Ajay.
10 rupees.
Yes. How much? 10 rupees. Okay. Fine.
20,000. Eh?
1,000.
20,000,
Ajay.
Fine.
not 1,000.
Ajay is so poor.
At least a 20,000 should give, na? Or
Okay, fine.
30,000.
I'll make it.
Sir, how many zeros, sir?
Yes. Fine. Now it is
1
fine,
lakh
right?
you are giving, sir.
Yes, yes.
No, no.
Monthly
No.
income is 1 lakh. Fine.
Talented fellow, sir.
Okay, fine. These three values that I have passed, then what will happen when I'm passing, when I'm calling the constructor, at that time I'm passing the actual arguments. So what will happen is that these three values will get stored where, guys? In these local variables that I have created for the constructor, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, so this one will get stored in this ID, this Ajay will get stored in this name, and this 1 lakh will get stored in this salary. Now, what will happen over here inside this, the programmer written instructions? Yes.
Sir, those local variables will be stored to the non-static one, sir.
So
Assigned
the
to the
local
non-static
variables
one.
that are there on the right side will that value
Assigned
will get stored where? It will
the
be assigned
non-static
to the non-static variables that are created where? In the
outside, sir.
currently created object. Yes,
Yes, sir.
in the
Yes, sir.
currently created object, right? Which is the currently created object, this E1. So for this one, those values will be stored and passed, like, okay. So I'm giving the responsibility to my constructor only with the help of these statements, that you only go and initialize those values. Okay. Yes,
Yes,
guys, are
sir.
you all getting?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Done. Now this is my first employee. Now, do you want me to create one more employee?
No.
Yes, we'll create
Yes.
some
Yes,
more.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
I
yes.
have a question here. So why we
Yeah,
are
sure,
using
sure.
this,
Ask.
why we are storing this dot ID in ID and this dot ID
Why
in
we are
employee?
storing?
Yeah.
So
Why
see
it is
what I am
three
doing over
lines?
here. Okay. So
This dot ID
earlier
is equal to
we
ID.
saw one example. I hope you remember. Like over here only, I'll add. Okay, see. Or should I show you that example only? You'll get confused. Just a second. Where is that? Yes, guys. So over here, yes, can you see?
Yeah.
Yes, this object creation statement that I have for this particular pen class. Yes, can you relate? So over here, over there, I was having an employee class for creating an object of employee type. But the only the difference is there that I have a class of pen and I will be creating an object of pen type. So yes, no doubts in this. And over here I have a static variable that is string name, p name, that is Parker, and I have a non-static variable also. Over for that I have initialized the value over here only. So what will happen is that how many ever objects I create, yes, for all those, what will happen? The same values will be initialized, right?
Yes, sir. The P
Yes,
name color will be
yes,
pink.
the
Cost will be 3.
yeah. So for each and every pen, the values will be same for every pen that I create, because the values have been initialized over here only. But I want my program to be dynamic, right? Like values should be varying. Right now, I'm just feeding it, but I'm just showing that there will be n number of employees, and for those employees, you have to take input and all. But before taking the input part, before taking it to the scanner class, I'm just showing you by just hard coding it. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, guys.
So here it is fine that if
Yeah,
I'll
so
generate multiple
over here,
objects
you don't have
with
any doubts, because what I'm doing over here is that I'm just calling the default constructor, since I have not added any constructor of my own. So I'm calling the default constructor. But what is happening over here? Yes,
so there
if I
why
am
we are
calling the
using
default
this.
constructor, yes, tell your doubt.
So why we are using there this dot uh, the, the constructor name and again
So
I mean
that
sorry variable.
every object should have a different value. Yes, so that these variables or the members that I have created over here, na, ID, name, and salary, for every employee it will be different. Yes,
Okay.
For every employee, don't you think it will be different? The ID will be different, the name will be different, and the salary will be different. So
Yeah.
what I am
Yes, sir.
doing over here is that I'm just cutting it short and doing what, that I'm giving the this instruction to the constructor only. I'm telling the constructor only to initialize the values that I'll be passing when I'm creating the object. That's all. If I don't do it like this, okay, if I don't do it like this, then what was I doing earlier? That I am showing you in this pen class. See, I'm just calling the default constructor, and what is it doing is that for every object, it is initializing these non-static variables with the same values. That's
Same
all. That's the.
values. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But over here now I was adding a default constructor, right? So over here I'm adding a default constructor. See, I've added a default constructor like this. It's not a default one, but because I have added it explicitly, so now it is not a default one, but it is a no argument constructor. Now what will it do? Now also my program will work perfectly fine. Yes, don't you think?
Yes, sir.
My program
Yes,
will
sir.
work perfectly fine.
Print the
So
argument
if I
inside that.
remove these lines from here, okay, control. Yes, if I remove these lines from here and if I add these lines in this pen, in this main method, okay, yes. Now, what will happen is that every object will be getting the same values. I'll show you. See, Control C and Control V. Now, what should be the change? Is, do you think that for the first pen the color will be pink and for the second pen there will be some default value or anything else? Yes, do you think like that?
No,
No,
sir.
it will be same because since we have
Yes, obviously it will be same, right? Java C pen dot Java. Yes. Now if I have compiled it, I'll execute it and see what is happening. Yes, so what I'm getting is for color I'm getting. Just a second.
6 to 8 batch, sir. Weekend.
Oh,
Happy.
okay. Actually, there is no issue. I was unable to fetch out the flow since just now I
what was
realized the flow of the program.
how you realize?
Yeah, because since it is a completely notepad, so it is very difficult to get into
Ah,
that.
yes. Yes, now it is compiled and successful. Now I'll execute it and see. Yes, so what is the output that I'm getting for the colors? Yes, pink, pink. For all the objects, the same values are getting initialized. So that's why I don't want it like this. For every pen, do you want like all the colors and all the states and everything will be same? No, right? For every pen, we want some variations. Yes, and that we want according to our choice. So for
Yes.
that, we are taking the help of the constructor.
Constructor.
And what we are doing is that we are giving the job, this job also to the constructor only by adding programmer written instructions. In this, the initialization. So
So
whenever I'm creating objects at that time only I'll be passing the value. So over here I have passed three values, and those three values are exactly same. Yes, but and but the
E2,
only thing that I am doing is that I'm
E2,
creating,
E3.
yes,
3
I'm
employees.
creating it like this. I've just changed the variable names. Now, so can anyone tell, will I get any compile time error if I am passing the same
No, sir.
values over here?
No,
No,
Yes.
sir.
sir. No, sir.
Yes or no? No.
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, right? So I won't
No,
get
sir.
any compile time error if I'm passing the same values or not.
It will
Okay,
print
yes.
the again
So,
same values only, sir. It will not show any error.
yes,
So
that is
here
the
we
only difference.
can pass n number of values, na? Like employee E1, E2, E3, n numbers we can take here, na?
Mm.
Yes, we can take n number
But
of
sir,
employees.
in this case, we also have to write n times.
Yes, so we will. Yeah. So what? This Java is God or what? We have to write
Sir,
the
the
code,
same
guys.
thing is we are doing, sir. We are writing the parameter also the n number of times, and this implies also the
Ah.
n number of times.
Yes.
Only difference is that, sir, each time uh, the value will be different. Both
Yes,
employees.
yes, that's the only difference. So now that much is fine. Yes, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I want to print the values,
Even
so
dot.
what do you want? What do you want to print at first? Yes, guys,
On
tell me.
time, sir.
On time. Okay. So every method, all the methods that I have over here will be loaded in the object also. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So for this, guys, we will be seeing the memory diagram first. Okay. I'll just add what I'll do. I'll remove this also now. Okay? For the time being, I'll
Even
remove
dot
this and
name.
we'll see the memory diagram. Yes.
Sir,
Okay.
method, sir.
This much is fine. Everyone understood. I have
Yes,
just
sir.
created 3 objects and that's all. Till now, I've created this much only.
No method
Yes. So
calling,
now I'll
sir.
be. No, no. I'll do all of that. Okay.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, method call. Okay, fine, fine. Yes, yes. I'll add some method call also. Yes.
Method call will be like even dot to work.
On
Even
time.
dot on time. Okay. On time. Yes. Even dot on time. This is fine. What next?
To work is there, sir.
Two work is
Non-static.
there. That is also non-static. To work. Okay. Yes. I've called both the non-static methods also. Yes. For even variable for first employee I have called. Similarly, you can call for all the employees also, guys. Okay, it's not a issue, I guess. Over here, I'll do
P2.
what is the change that I'll do? P2. That's all. Yes,
Yes, sir.
same for employee 3 also I can do. Oh, yes. So I'm
That
writing all of this. Yes, what happened?
Noise is coming from background.
Noise is coming.
Now
On
it's
which
back.
side it is coming, guys? Turn off your mics. Yes. Now this much is fine, guys, for this program. Yes.
Yes, sir.
It's sir.
Okay. Now, guys, we'll see the memory diagram. So first of all, what will happen? Yes, one big box is created. For whom? This is given to the JRE. By whom? It is given by the RAM. Now there will be a first block,
memory. Memory.
that is the memory method area, and yes, then the second one will be the
Stack.
static area.
Third one is
Static area.
stack. Yes.
Yeah, third one is stack area,
Stack
and
area. Heap area.
last we have the heap area.
Heap area.
Yes. Okay. Now, guys, so all the distribution part is done. Now, from where the class loading process will start? Yes, we'll start it from the class loading process, guys. Okay. So I want everyone to understand it nicely because it will be from starting, that is starting of the class loading, I will end it at the end of the object loading. Okay. So now I'm combining it, telling it.
Okay,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Yes.
Fine, sir.
So now for the class loading, guys, from where is it starting? All the distribution part is done. Now from where will the class loading process start? Yes, can anyone tell?
Static
First
area.
of all, what will happen?
Static area, sir.
Static area, sir.
In the static area, block
Block will
will be
be
created.
created.
What is
CSS.
the name of this block?
Class
Class
name.
static. Class static area.
Class static
Yes.
area.
So, yes, it is known as the class static area, and it will be created by which name? By the
Class
class
name.
name.
Class name.
Class name.
Yes.
Employee.
Employee. Okay. Now what next?
All the methods, sir.
Method.
Okay, so all the methods that I have in my program, all the
And
methods and all
initializers.
the
Multi-line
multi-line
initializers
initializers, yes, all the
Multi-line
multi-line
initializers.
initializers
will be loaded in
methods
the
will get
method area.
loaded where?
Method area.
In the method area. So now what are the things that I have?
So,
I have a static multi-line initializer, a non-static
Non-static.
multi-line initializer. Then after that I have two
Non-static.
non-static methods.
Sir,
Yes.
one non-static, one
Then
static, sir.
okay, yeah, one static and one non-static. Okay, four. Now what next? I have a constructor also. So do you think that this will also get loaded in the
no,
method
sir.
area?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
No,
No.
no,
So
sir.
our constructor won't get loaded. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now what next? After that I have my main
Main.
method. So total
So
five
some
things I
disturbance
have.
is there. Sir, some disturbance is there.
So let's go from this side. Okay. Now it's fine.
Sir, please, you only explain, sir, that some sounds are coming.
Yes. The best one.
What?
Only
What
you
happened?
explain that the topic. Everyone talking means double sounds are coming.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, fine. Okay, guys. I was doing that so that you all have a proper revision. That's all. Yes. Okay, fine. So now the first step that is happening is that a class static area is being created in the static area by the class name. Yes. Now after this, what will happen is that all the methods and all the static and non-static multi-line initializers will get loaded. So I will create how many blocks? I have four things to load: a static multi-line initializer, after that a non-static multi-line initializer, then a static method, then after that I have a non-static method, and at last I have the main method. Yes, all of that got loaded. All of this will get loaded with one reference. Yes,
Reference
so
value.
0x1, 0x2, 0x3, 0x4, and the last one is 0x5. Yes, now all of this got loaded. So for understanding, I'll just write it like this. So this is the static multi-line initializer. This is
Non
the non-static multi-line initializer.
non-static.
Then I have a static method by the name toWork.
On time.
Yes, toWork and on time. Yes. So now over here, which is a static one. What are the things that I have static over here? Or in the methods to write and on time. Yes, I'll see. Yes, so the to work is there, right? To work is a non-static method, and on time is a static method.
Static
And my main
method.
is also a static method. Yes. So on time is a static method, right? So I'll write S over here.
S.
So now what are the static members that I have over here? Yes. Yes.
Static multi-line initializer.
Static multi-line initializer, and after that the
And
static method that is by the name on time, and the
on
main
time.
method. So these are the three static things that I have. And am I having any static single line initializer or variable? Yes. Yes, am I having or
No,
not?
sir.
No,
No, sir.
I don't have. So
No,
only
non-static.
the methods and those initializers will get loaded, right? No variables to load. So one table will be created directly, and what are the two columns? That method signature and
Reference.
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 Yes. So all the static members will get loaded. So first one is a static multi-line initializer. So three dots I'll take, and I only add the
0x1.
reference. Then after that, on time method is there. Yes, I'll add that also with its reference, that is 0x4, and after that the main method.
Main method
Yes,
0x5.
that is
Okay.
0x5. So
So all
yes,
the reference will be here.
yes. So all the references, only the static methods and static initializes references got loaded, right, with its method signatures. Yes. Now, now before the main method gets called, what should happen? The static initializers should execute. Yes, the static initializers should execute.
Yes.
So if I have any static initializer that will execute, am I having any static single line initializer over here? No, I don't
No,
have.
sir.
But I have a static multi-line
Multiple line.
initializer.
Multi-line initializer.
Multi-line,
Yeah,
multi-line,
I have a
multi-line.
multi-line initializer. So for that, what will happen? Yes,
It
this
will
multi-line initializer.
0x1.
Yeah. So what will happen?
A frame will
yes.
be created in the stack area, sir.
The
Yes, a
frame
frame will be created
F1.
Along
by
reference.
No F.
F0. For the first one, it
F0,
is
sir.
Yeah.
F0, right?
Then F1.
Yes, and the static one. So what will happen? Whatever is there inside that will get printed. So
Printed.
system.out.println hi from static multi-line initializer is there. That's all.
It will go
So
with the
what will
reference.
happen? Here I'll add
It will
output
be,
console also.
Mhm.
Yes,
yes, sir.
hi
No,
from
sir.
static multi-line initializer will get executed. Hi from. That's
Static
all.
multi-line.
Yes.
Yes.
Now can I tell that the execution of this static multi-line initializer is done?
Yes, sir. Now it will be
Yes.
removed
Yes. Now this frame will be removed. So now this frame has been removed. So now what next?
on time.
No, just a second.
Main
How?
method, sir.
Now
Just a
am I
second,
Main
guys.
having
method.
Just a second, guys. How can you show me once the flow for the static in the program? Just sorry,
in the
sorry. I'm
program?
really
Yes.
really sorry for the request.
No. It's fine. It's fine. So, yes. So this was the static multi-line initializer that I had in my program. So it
Right.
executed.
So the program will start from the main method. Then compiler will start to read from main method or from the int id from the very first point. I want the clarification from the flow test.
So when we discussed static initializers at that time, didn't I tell you that the static initializers will execute before the actual execution of our program?
Okay.
So the actual execution of my program starts from main method, but before the actual execution starts, my static initializers will execute. So I'm not having any static single line initializer in this program. So that didn't execute, but I have a static multi-line initializer, and the initializers always execute in a top to bottom order. So it will execute. So it executed. Now, how are the static multi-line initializers execute? A frame will be created for them in the stack area, and once the execution of that static multi-line initializer is done, this frame will be removed. Now, if there is any other static multi-line initializers, then that will execute, or any initializer. But if there are none, then what will happen? The JVM will call the main method. Now the execution of my main method will start. So what can I tell is that the actual execution of my program starts. Okay.
Got it. So it is not related to the method or constructor till here. It will
No,
simply
not yet, not yet.
create a
We have just started the class loading. So first we'll finish the entire class loading. Okay.
Got it. Yeah. Please
Yes.
continue.
Yes. Okay. So now my main method has got called. Now what will happen is that this main method reference is there, right? So it will be pointing internally. It is pointing, guys. Okay. Don't you don't have to draw this line every time and all. But now what will happen is that a frame will be created for my main method. Yes. Now the frame is created for the main method. The reference will be what? F0.
0.
Okay, because there is no other frame present at the time when this frame got created for main method. Okay, so now my main method will start its execution. So whatever is there inside the main method will happen. But focus, guys. Okay, now you have to focus. Now the object loading is going to start. The object loading is going to start when? Because now I have entered my main method, and inside my main method only I have created the objects. So at this point only the object loading process also starts. Yes. Okay. So guys, now once the frame is created for the main method, so the execution of the main method starts. So now what for that? For the execution of the main method, what will happen? What is the first statement that is present? Object creation statement is there, right? Yes, an object creation statement is there. So because of this, what will happen? Because of this new employee, what will happen is that because of this new keyword, or object will be created. Yes, a block will be created where in the heap
In the
area.
heap area.
Yes, so a block is created. Yes. Now with a what? With
Reference.
a reference.
Reference.
So I take the reference as 0x6. Okay. 0x6. Now this block has been created. Now what next? This employee constructor is getting called. This parameterized constructor is getting called. Yes. Now once the constructor gets called, guys, focus. What is happening over here is that now once the constructor gets called, as you can see that my constructor is having a body. Now you know that my constructor is having a body, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So from this, you must remember that when the constructor gets called, what will happen is that for the constructor also, guys, one frame will be created. Okay. For our
Yes, sir.
constructor also, one frame will be created. Guys, this is new. I didn't tell
With
you
the-
until now. Yes. So this frame is created for whom? This is created for
F1.
the constructor. And that you can relate how, because you can see that the constructor is
There
having
is a
a block,
body.
so you can remember that for this also a frame is being created in the stack area. I told you, right, whatever thing that will have a block, for that a frame will be created. For its execution, a frame will be created. So this is what, guys, this is the
Yes, sir.
block that has been created for the constructor employee. That is a parameterized constructor, right? So now,
Okay.
what is the work of a constructor? Once the constructor gets called, what are the things that it should do? Yes, it has 3 tasks. What is the first
Loading.
task?
Loading.
Load.
Load, execute
Load
initializer.
non-static initializers. Yes. So I'm
Yes,
writing
sir.
it in short only, guys. Okay. So the first task that a constructor should do is that it should load the
Loading
non-static initializers. Where it should do? So it should load
Object
the
creator in the
non-static.
heap area.
All the
Employee
non-static members should be
employee type
loaded.
object.
Yes, so it will load all the non-static members, guys. Okay, it will load all the non-static members. So now how will it load? What are the non-static members that I have in my program? Yes,
Sir,
I
non-static
have non-static variables.
ID.
I
non-static
have
one
a
non-static
non-static
multi-line.
initializer, multi-line initializer. I have a non-static
Static
method by the name
method.
toWork. Yes, and I have a non-static constructor also. Yes, okay. But what are the things that will get loaded? So all the non-static things will get loaded. Yes, all the non-static things will get loaded, but this constructor won't get loaded, guys. Okay, except the constructor, everything will get loaded. Whichever is non-static, everything will get loaded into the object except the constructor. Okay, remember this, the constructor won't get loaded anywhere. Yes. So the first task of the constructor is that it will load all the non-static members. So how will it load? First, it will load the non-static variables. Yes. So what are those? ID is there. It will get loaded with what?
Default values.
Default value 0. For ID, it is 0. Then for name,
Null.
what will be the value? Null. Now what next?
Sal.
Salary. Salary, the default value will also be 0 only.
0.
Yes. So
Yes,
all
sir.
the variables got loaded. Now what next? What are the things that need to be loaded? The members that are having a block. So the non-static multi-line initializers and the non-static methods will get loaded over here. So what are those? I have a non-static multi-line initializer and I have a non-static method. That's all. So 3 dots and 0x2 I'll take.
2.
Yes, and after that 2 right.
2 right,
sorry,
0x3.
2 work is 0x3. So yes, all the things got loaded. Now
Yes,
the
sir.
constructor's first task is done. I can tell it has loaded all the non-static members into the object created.
Right.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
The second task. What is the second task?
Execute the initializer.
Initializers.
Execute the
Execute the
non-static initializers. Yes. Execute the non-static initializers. So, am I having any non-static initializer in my program?
Yes.
Yes, I am having a non-static multi-line initializer. Yes, I have only a multi-line initializer over here.
It
So
will
that will
create a
execute. How will a non-static multi-line initializer execute?
Frame will be created, sir.
like
Frame.
somewhere done.
Yes. Frame frame will be created for the non-static multi-line initializer.
F2.
Yes. F2. Now what will happen because of this? What is there inside my non-static multi-line initializer? High from non-static
High
multi-line
from.
initializer. Yes. So this will get printed high from non-static multi-line initializer. Yes, this got printed. Now can I tell the execution of the non-static multi-line initializer
Yes,
is
sir.
done?
Yes, sir. It
So
will
this
be
frame will
removed.
be removed. Yes, now I can tell the execution of the non-static initializers is done. The second task of the constructor is done. Can I tell? Am I having any other non-static initializer?
No, sir.
Yes?
No, sir.
No, I don't have. So I can tell the second task also of the constructor is done. Now what is the third task, guys? Yes?
Programmer written instruction.
Programmer
Will be
written
executed.
instructions will get execute. Programmer written instructions will execute, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Programmer written instructions will get executed. Now, what are these programmer written instructions? Yes, I have some
This.
programmer written instructions inside my method. Okay. Yes, just a second, guys. Hello. So now the non-static multi-line initializer has executed. So now the third task is that the programmer written instructions will execute, right? So what are the programmer written instructions that I have? I am assigning values to the non-static variables that have been created inside where? Inside the object, right? Inside the currently created object, the values that have been passed to the constructor that will get loaded. Yes. So that only I'm doing, right? The
Yes,
programmer
sir.
written instructions that I have. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Ah. So what I'm doing is that the values that have been passed and that are stored inside these local variables, because I passed those actual arguments, right? So I told you, right, that these got stored in these local variables and those values will be copied and used. Yes. So how am I using? Is that I'm transferring those values into the variables that are there inside the object created. That I am doing with the help of this keyword. This keyword holds the currently created object reference. Okay. Yes. So for this, I'm doing for the first object. So what will happen is that for the first object, this ID, this particular ID that is stored inside one will get stored, and the second name that is Ajay will get stored for the first object, and this that is, oh sorry, this value 1 lakh will get stored there. Yes. So what is happening is that the programmer written instructions will get executed. So because of that, this ID will be replaced by 1 for the first object I'm telling. Then this name will be replaced
Ajay.
by Ajay. Yes. And the salary will become how much? 1 lakh,
1
right?
lakh.
Yes. So done. The programmer written instructions have been executed. I can tell.
Yes,
So
sir.
the third task of the
Third
constructor
part.
is also done. Yes. So now what will happen? The constructor's entire work is done. I can tell.
Yes,
Ye-
sir.
Yes, sir. It will be
Yes.
removed.
So this frame will be removed, guys. Yes. Now
Yes,
once
sir.
this
Yes,
frame is
sir.
also removed, the constructor's frame is also removed. The constructor's work is done. Now, what is the last work that is remaining in my program? In this statement, what is the last work that is remaining?
Sir,
The
storing that
constructor's
reference in the object
Yeah,
reference, sir.
yes, guys. So the reference will be returned by the new keyword, right? So there is a reference that
Yes,
is
sir.
waiting, that is 0x1. So we
0x3,
should store it.
0x6.
Yes. So
Main
this
program.
0x1 will get stored where?
Main, the main blob
Inside
methods.
this E1. And where is this E1 variable present?
E1.
Main method, sir.
Main method. So in the loading process, where will it get loaded? inside the main method only, there will be a variable what will get created,
E1.
that is E1, because I have that instruction inside my main method only now.
Yes, sir.
So the 0x6 will be stored over here. The object reference for the first object. Yes, it got stored inside the main method by the variable name, that is E1. Okay. Yes.
Yes,
As I
sir.
have this instruction inside my main method, this
Yes,
E1
sir.
and E2 and all of this is there inside my main method only. No? That's why this reference is getting stored inside my main method. That's all. Okay. So whatever reference is being returned, that is returned to this
Okay,
variable
sir.
and it's stored inside this E1. And where will this E1 be present? It will be present whichever block it is present in. So now I have created it inside my main method. So I'm writing it inside my main method. Okay. Yes. So now I can tell the first line's entire execution is done. This first line's entire execution is done.
Yes, sir. Over, sir.
Similarly, for the second line also, what will happen? An employee type object will be created. After that, the constructor is getting called. The same procedure will repeat. So
Yes, sir.
can you all guys tell the second object creation?
Yeah,
Yes,
sir.
I'll be writing it, and I want you guys to everyone to tell it. Yes, can you all do it?
Yes, sir.
Because of this new keyword, what will happen? Yes, guys,
A block will
everyone,
be created.
one block will be created. Yes,
0x7.
0x7. What next?
Because of constructor.
No, I
Yes,
want
so
0 8 as a reference.
That's
I don't
valid.
want to give 0x7.
What?
I don't want to give 0x7. I want to give some other reference ID.
You want to give some other reference?
Yeah,
There is
delete
no
it.
space inside my main method to write 0x6 only. You want some big reference? Okay. So now what is happening? A block has been created. Now the constructor is getting called. So once the constructor gets called, what will happen? Yes, this constructor is getting called. So the same constructor is getting called, right? So the same values are passed to these local variables. So now these local variables value has been updated with these values, right? So every time the constructor gets called, these values are being passed as the actual arguments are passed to the formal arguments, and they are getting stored, right? Every time this is only happening, right, guys? Then the constructor is getting called and the values are getting passed. So now what is happening is that if the constructor is getting called, a frame will be created. Yes,
Yes, sir.
guys, I'll give you 1 or 2 frames from here.
Deleted frames.
So now the constructor is getting called for the second time, right? So
F1.
now
Yes,
what
sir.
frame name? Okay, F1.
F1
Now
reference.
the constructor, again this constructor will
Three
do the
steps.
same 3 tasks. Yes, the same 3
Load.
tasks need to be done. So
Yes, sir.
loading,
Execution.
all the
Execute.
non-static-
Loading,
load,
execution,
and the programmer written instructions will be executed. So for
Of
loading, the first
instructions.
task is that it will load ID with what? Default value. Name
ID.
with what? Default value.
Yes, sir.
And
Name null.
salary also with default value. And what about the methods and everything? Yes. What are the methods that are there? I have a non-static multi-line
Non-static
initializer
and non-static methods.
Zero
and
X.
the work method by a 0x3. Yes, enough.
0x3.
All the loading
Yes, sir.
process has been done.
Done.
Now the execution of the non-static
Execution.
initializer. So what will happen? Execution of the non-static initializer will happen. I have a non-static initializer, right? So this will execute high from non-static multi-line initializers. This will execute. For that, again one frame is created. Non-static multi-line initializer. Again the same thing will get printed high from non-static multi-line initializer. It got printed. Execution of the non-static multi-line initializer is done. Sorry, I forgot to add F2. So this is done. This has been removed. So now the execution is also done. Both these tasks are done. Now what next? What is the third task? Programmer written instructions.
Written instructions.
Yes. So what are the programmer written instructions? this dot id is equals to
ID.
id, this dot
Yes,
name is
sir.
equals to name, this dot sal is equals to
This
sal.
dot
So
sal.
whatever values that are present inside these local variables, that should be passed where? To the object created.
This.
Now, which is the currently object created? Which is the current object reference that is there?
E2, sir.
E2.
Yes.
E2.
The
E2.
current object reference is of the second object, right? This
Yes,
second
sir.
object, that is 0x7. Now this keyword is holding the object reference of this object particular, the second object. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
0x7 is there. So all the values will get, the programmer
Get
written
replaced.
instructions are getting
Two.
executed. So 2, name is
Sanjay.
what is that?
Sanjay.
And
1 lakh.
money was, I guess, 10 lakh or like 1 crore.
1 crore
Okay.
per month.
1 crore.
Yes, he is a good guy. Yes. Okay. So fine. Now all the program written instructions are also done. So can I
Yes,
tell
sir.
the execution of the constructor is
Yes,
done?
sir.
Yeah,
We can
sir.
remove.
This frame is
We
removed.
can remove
Now,
F1 frame.
what will happen? What is the next task that needs to be done by the new keyword? This particular reference will be
Reference.
returned to the new
Returned.
keyword, and it is
The
getting
main
stored where?
new
Inside the
keyword.
variable e2.
Main
Yes, so
method.
inside e2 0x7 is there. Okay, it got stored. Now what next? What is there?
Again, one object
creation
creation
statement.
statement.
Now what
Same
I'll do is that I'll
same
remove
for
this.
E3.
I'll remove it. Yes, guys, you all understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I removed it, guys. Okay, fine. So I'll have only 2 employees. That is enough. This is a small company. Sanjay is rich. I'm not rich. Okay. Yeah. So okay. Now all the object creation part is done. Now what I have inside the main method,
Method,
I'm
sir.
calling the methods, right? I'm calling the methods. But before this, guys, I'll add some print statements also, okay? To print the details of the employees that I have, okay? System.out.println is so what do you want to print? The employee name, the first employee's name. If you want to print, how will you print that?
E1 dot name, sir.
For the second employee, how are you going to print the name of the second employee?
E2 dot name.
E2 dot.
We will use the reference variable.
E1.
Name.
E2 dot name.
Yes, E1 dot name and E2 dot name. So, do you think that we'll get, for the first one we'll get Ajay,
Ajay.
and for the second one we'll get Sanjay? Don't you
Yes,
think?
sir.
Sanjay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think it should be below this calling method.
Below this calling method. Fine. I'll call it
So-
whenever I want.
Okay. So why we are calling it? I mean, here. You want-
Yes.
So if what will
Why
happen
we
if
are calling
will
it?
delete it? Yeah.
Yes. Can you repeat?
Yeah. Why we are calling it? Just to store. I mean, after calling it, is it storing the data in the variable?
Yes. So my constructor did that only, right? It stored the value inside the object created.
Right.
So over here for the first object, I have passed 1. So what it did is that this value, because of this line, got stored where? Inside this first object's ID. So now I'm just accessing. Similarly, for name also, Ajay got stored, and for this name, for the second object's name, Sanjay got stored. So now
Got
I'm
it,
just
got it.
accessing it and I'm
Yeah.
checking that
Yeah.
whether it got stored or not. Yes,
If I'll delete the last 4 line, what will happen?
nothing will happen, and that is simply I've added. Okay.
Okay.
Now is it fine?
Yes. So just wanted to know what is why we had. I mean, what is the functionality of that line?
Okay, fine. So now, guys, I'll save it. See. Java. Okay. Yes, so now I've saved it. Now I have, so these two statements, work has been done inside my main method, right? Yes, inside the main method, the main method's execution is only going on, right? So these two statements got executed. Now I have two more statements. So because of these two statements, what output I'll get? I should get
Ajay, Sanjay, sir.
Ajay and
Sanjay.
Sanjay. Yes,
Yes.
Ajay and Sanjay. Right.
Sanjay.
So this should be the end of my program, because
sir.
after that I don't have anything else.
No.
So I can tell the
Remove the
execution
main
of my
method.
main method is done. So it means the entire execution of my program is done. So what will happen is that this frame is also removed after that. Yes. And we should get
Yes, sir.
this particular output. So now I'll compile it and see, guys, whether I'm getting that output or not. Okay.
We will get, sir.
We will get
Employee
let's
7.
see. Yes, it is compiled and successful. Okay. Now we'll see. Yes, guys.
Hi,
What am I
from
getting?
Exactly, sir. Same.
same, sir. Same we are getting.
Same output we are getting.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. The
Yes.
program and the output we can have.
Yes. So yes, high from static multiline initializer, then
High
high
from-
from non-static multiline initializer, and again high from non-static multiline initializer. Then after that, Ajay and Sanjay. Yes,
Yes, sir.
you're getting the exact same output. So this is how this memory diagram is going to help us, right? So what is it doing is that we are getting the entire flow of this program, right? So this over here, we have taken a very small program, guys, okay? But by practicing these small programs only, this will come into your flow. So now, by looking only, you can understand what are the things that are going to get executed in the first. Yes.
Yes, sir.
What are the yes? Can anyone tell what is the first thing that is going to be executed in this program? Yes, you
Sir,
have seen the output also, right?
actually, static multi-line initializers will be
Static
executed
multi-line
first, sir.
initializer, sir.
Yes. So first of all, the static
High
initializer
from-
will execute. So I have a static multiline initializer. It got executed. Now directly you will be
Yes,
going
sir.
for what? Directly you will be
Main
don't look
method.
for these static and non-static methods, because from where is my execution part starting? It is
Main
obviously
method, sir.
starting from my main method. So directly go for the main method. Okay. Now see what is there inside the main method. What is there? Object creation statement is there. Now because of this object creation statement, you should have that clear imagination. Okay, in your mind, that entire class loading and the object loading process should be going on. Okay, the four
For-
blocks will be, it should be divided into 4 parts. Then all the, because of the object creation, what is happening? Yes, a block will be created. Like how we are practicing over here now, this entire flow should be there in your mind, guys. Okay, you should have that imagination. Okay, you have to practice it that much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes.
Understood, sir.
So understood, guys. Everyone understood. Now we are entirely done with the class loading and the object loading process. Yes, guys. It's
Sir, once
completed.
again show these programs, sir.
Yes.
Show these programs.
Harsh. What? Story.
No, so you want to see the program once.
Yeah.
Code.
Program.
Okay.
Code.
Yes, guys. Okay. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Done.
Done, sir.
This is our entire code, and this is how we are getting. So like how I removed those 2 lines, right? Similarly, guys, you can print all the things that whatever you want, right? Now if I want to print the ID of the first guy, I can do that. Yes. For the second employee also, if I want to print the ID, I can do that. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now if you want to beautify it, you can do that also. How can do that? You can do it simply by adding some lines. Yes, okay. So this is how you will be able to print the values, guys. Okay. Okay. Done. Guys, any doubts still here? Yes. For Ajay, I'm getting the ID as 1, and for Sanjay, I'm getting the ID as 2. Yes. Okay. Guys, any doubts? Yes, anyone having any doubts still here? So, yesterday, guys, we didn't go through the object loading that we had in this, right? Yes. So, over here, guys, yes. Did you all go through the notes at least? Yes. Yes,
sir.
guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the loading process of the object is also done. So the loading process of the object starts from where, guys? Yes. It's in front. Yes. Can anyone tell?
Object creation statement, sir.
Yes. The
Object
loading process
creation.
will always start from the new keyword. The moment it reaches the new keyword, the object loading process starts, guys. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then the new keyword will create a block of memory in the heap area, and then it calls the constructor. During the execution of the constructor, a frame is created in the stack area, right? And the 3 tasks of the constructor will be done. That is, it will load all the non-static members into the object created. Then it will execute the non-static initializers from top to bottom order. And after that, the third task that needs to be done by the constructor is the programmer return instructions will execute. Yes. And once the constructor's work is done, what will happen is that the frame of the constructor is removed and the new keyword is responsible for returning the object created. Yes. And how many ever times you create an object, the same steps will be repeated, guys. Yes. Loading process of the object will be repeated as many times you create an object. Okay. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Guys, anyone having any doubts in the object loading or the class loading? Yes. Any doubts?